Good evening, San Diego. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis, and thank you for tuning in for your CBS 8 Plus weather update. Our temperatures for today were either a little below seasonal or right on the money. 107 was the high today for Borrego Springs, a few degrees below seasonal for downtown, the same for Ramona. But temperatures are going to take a little bit more of a hit tomorrow, just by a few degrees, and then warming up into the weekend. That marine layer is starting to roll right back on shore again, so that's not going to change. It's still repeating in night and morning hours with some cloud cover, and then we get right back to that afternoon sunshine. So temperatures are going to be warming up as we hit Friday, which is the 4th of July, and into next week. As a result, we're also talking about much warmer temperatures next week that will bring heat of the upper 70s. That will be for the coast, and also some low 90s back across the inland valleys. But before we get to that point, we also have some elevated surf to talk about that coincides with the holiday weekend. Your overnight lows, widespread 50s and 60s across the county. That stretch from the coast all the way to the mountains, and 73 degrees for Borrego Springs. When it comes to our daytime highs for tomorrow, as I mentioned, just one more day where we take a little bit of a hit with those temperatures. And so we're going to have that across inland areas. So still on the warm side with those widespread 80s, but coming down just a little bit. You have 81 degrees for Escondido, the same for El Cajon, 85 degrees expected for Ramona, the same for Julian, 104. Now that's a few degrees below seasonal for this time of the year. That would be for Borrego Springs. You also have some upper 60s that went out right there along North County coastline. So temperatures are going to just take a little bit of a hit by a degree or two, or actually remain the same. But then we get into next week where it's a different story. When we look at the hazard that we do have for our county, it's only focused mainly on the beach. And that's because we have elevated surf, a southerly swell bringing in about 3 to 6 feet. And that's going to be with strong rip currents being present right along our coastline. That goes into effect starting tomorrow morning and lasting all the way through 11 p.m. on Saturday. So if you're going to be out there, please use caution. Cannot stress that enough. You really need to know your skill. Know your limit when it comes to the water. If you're not a skilled swimmer, you're not a skilled surfer, you're advised to hang back. It is always best to swim at lifeguard towers. And well, you'll see some red flags out there as well, indicating that strong risk of rip currents at our local beaches. So once again, if you're not a skilled swimmer, please do not get in the water. Lifeguards are already going to be pretty busy with lots of people right there for the 4th of July weekend. So just protect yourself. And if you do get caught, do not panic. That will exhaust you trying to go against a rip current. So what you should do is actually swim parallel to the beach, parallel to shore, to get yourself out of it. When we look at our forecasts, in the upper levels, you have this area of low pressure. There's the reason that we still have that westerly breeze. And it's going to be, moving along with a few more areas of low pressure. So you're just seeing 3 overall. Now, they're relatively weak. They're not making that much of a difference. The reason that we have the influence with the slight slip in temperatures with that one is because overhead. It's keeping high pressure towards the east of us, but this high pressure system looks to expand in, and that's what's going to bring in that heat. So more of the warmth in our forecast by next week, even going back to the 1 teens for the desert because of that expanding ridge that's going to bring in some hotter temperatures. But you still have low 70s for the coast, and that's for tomorrow. You start to go back into those mid 70s over the weekend, upper 70s by next week. Low 80s for the inland valleys turn into upper 80s as we go from the 4th of July into the start of the weekend, even having those mid to upper 80s by next week, and even some low 90s returning by Wednesday. For the mountains, you have 80s still going strong in the forecast, but it's the upper 80s over the weekend that bring a little bit more heat, and those 90s definitely bringing heat by next week. 91 degrees by Monday. That keeps going through the middle of the week with those 90s. 102 tomorrow for the desert, back to a seasonal high on Friday of 104, or actually 107 will be the seasonal high on Saturday, but then you're back to the 1 teens by Wednesday of next week. I hope you have a great night, and thanks for tuning in.